Former President Yoon Suk-yeol and his wife Kim Ki-on-hee, the former first couple, are under a special investigation that is gaining momentum. We have reporter Lee Se-yeol here with us. First of all, yesterday the Ministry of Justice abruptly replaced the head of the Seoul Detention Center, where former President Yoon Suk-yeol is being held. What is behind this decision?
Kim Hyun-woo, who was in charge of the Seoul Detention Center, previously managed the Seoul Detention Center during Yoon's presidency before his promotion. Given the controversial nature of the promotion, suspicions arose that he provided preferential treatment to the former president in return.
During his entire detention period, Yoon Suk-yeol has spent a total of 395 hours and 18 minutes meeting with his legal representatives, hosting a remarkable total of 348 visitors in this detention. Dear citizens, do you honestly think that such privileges might be granted to an ordinary inmate?
There were also claims that former President Yoon was using a space meant for 6 people all by himself, essentially occupying a large area that could actually accommodate 32 people. It's interpreted that the Ministry of Justice took disciplinary personnel measures to dispel these suspicions.
Right, now that the head of the Seoul Detention Center has been replaced, we will watch how the investigation unfolds. Let's also discuss the investigation into the former first couple. Former President Yoon is resisting, while Mrs. Kim is cooperating with the summons. They are showing different responses. How can this be interpreted?
There are various interpretations regarding the differing responses of former President Yoon and his wife to the special investigation. As seen in the earlier report, there are indications that the two could be implicated in a conspiracy related to bribery charges. If they show up at the special investigation and share contradictory statements, it might create significant disadvantages for them. Additionally, compared to Yoon, who faces treason charges, Kim seems to have determined that cooperating with the special investigation could be advantageous in her trial for violations of the Financial Investment Services and Capital Markets Act. However, a notable former senior prosecutor pointed out that while Yoon's refusal to appear is indeed unusual, Kim's cooperation in attending the investigation cannot necessarily be interpreted as a positive gesture.
Right now they're even questioning accomplices, and yesterday Mrs. Kim refused to testify. How should we interpret her mindset? Is she feeling resigned or something else?
You could see it that way. As the special investigation progresses, suspicions keep popping up, from luxury necklaces to luxury watches. In this situation, she seems to have expressed her unresolved frustration to her lawyer, wondering if she could continue living with her husband or meet him again. However, it's worth noting that her legal team disclosed this statement to the media. It could be interpreted as an attempt to sway public opinion by portraying herself as unjustly accused, but it's uncertain whether this will influence public sentiment.
So, we need to carefully observe how the public will react to her mentioning if she can live with her husband again. What's the outlook for further investigations into Mrs. Kim?
The special investigation team has scheduled Mrs. Kim's next interrogation for Monday at 10 a.m. Yesterday's first investigation after the arrest wrapped up in 4 hours, but the actual questioning only lasted about 2 hours and 10 minutes. And there was no investigation at all into the luxury goods allegations, which played a crucial role in Mrs. Kim's arrest. Moreover, if an arrest warrant is issued for Mr. Kim Ye-sung, who is identified as Mrs. Kim Ki-on-hee's aide, a face-to-face interrogation might be necessary. So, while there will be multiple summons for questioning in the future, it's uncertain whether Mrs. Kim will comply willingly.
Thanks for the update on the investigation into former President Yoon and his wife. That was Lee Se-yeol.